Yeah, what's up, y'all? We're business. It's good. What's good? It's your boy MC Fire. Coming at you again with another trade video. We are blasting off. And I'm going to teach you guys how to not be a butthole, right? I basically just got off the call with my brother, and we were going through, like, why options versus stock make sense in some occasions, right? And some people were like, well, options are hard, or it's too risky, or I don't understand it. I'm gonna stay away, right? That is not an excuse. You are doing yourself a disservice from having definitely the potential to make crazy returns with the right skill set. Because really, what I want to kind of key on today is why do people tell people about things when they've already moved, when it's already time to sell tickets, when it's already time to leave the stadium? Why didn't you tell me about it when it's in the dirt, when it's really there's an opportunity to make real money? And then what I realize is most people don't have a plan. That's really what it boils down to. Most people don't have a plan. And if they shared their plan with you and they were honest, a lot of people's credibility would be shattered, right? A lot of the people you see on Bloomberg, on MSNBC Finance, and all this other stuff. If you go back and you look at some of their recommendations or track records, it probably wasn't all that good. But most people don't ever go back and fact check these individuals. What you'll find is a lot of them they're throwing information out there and seeing what sticks. And then when something sticks after it moves, they're like, oh well, if you bought it back 30 years ago and you gave up your $5 cup of coffee, I'm gonna tell you right now, that is not a plan. What people have to do is start giving people a real plan, an if-then plan. Okay, a real if-then plan. We're gonna set on this channel. I will make my promise to you to always give you an if-then plan. And if that comes across as financial advice, it is not, because you are not supposed to trade just because I tell you to do something, right? You're supposed to trade your own money based off your own research and your own deductive reasoning. Now, I'm going to give you a plan so that to educate you on how to make plans, okay? Not necessarily to tell you how and what to do with your money. You worked hard for it. You do what you feel is best. But we here, we're going to change the way the entire ecosystem does business because they don't make plans. They just make outlandish recommendations after the thing has already moved. See, we told you back here that it was going to move. If you would have did this here, back there, and it made that recommendation, cool. Then why aren't you screaming from the mountaintops about the recommendation? Not about it after it sells tickets, right? And what do I mean? Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? This is kind of coming from a position where a couple of my friends, they're kind of getting into an investing as the stock market is already kind of at highs, and it's very similar to what happened. There's an old adage in sports that says defense wins games, offense sells tickets. Putting points on the board and making the highlight reel that definitely attracts customers, right? So when after everyone's made real profits, right, that's when they're like, see, I already made my money. I made my money. I made my money, right? And because you made money, now people want to jump in late and see if they can do the same thing. But it really is the risk, the defense, the hard times, the selling, the bad news where you buy on a risk, and that is what it rallies, and that's what makes you money. They're not giving people an edge or plan. They're just telling people, "Hey, I sold tickets. Check this team out," and hoping that the team wins a championship again next year. That's hard. That's hard to sell to me now because I got in the same way. A lot of me and my friends, we started trading when the S&P 500 had already made crazy returns, right? So when I look back at like where my arrows were for when I was taking trades, it was like at all-time highs for things, right? We only kind of got lucky because earnings would come out and they would crush earnings and there would be a huge move up and we would buy like way out of the money. But because earnings were so amazing, the way out of the money actually netted us a crazy amount of return. So really we were just guessing, gambling. We didn't really have a real strategy, right? I would never tell people to do that now. It was fun. It was the cowboy days, but now we got to put our big boy pants on and be professionals. And that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to make real plans and we're going to be professional. $2, 2 bar professional, not $2 professionals. Ooh. All right. Let's dive right in. So just to kind of start us out, we always kind of do a snapshot of what the market kind of looks like, as you can see from our handy dandy free www.barcharts.com tool. Right, you can kind of see what sectors are making inroads, what sectors are kind of peeling off, pulling down a little bit, and what sectors are kind of leading the charge. You can see energy; it's not doing too bad. I think that's energy there at the bottom. They're in a process of elimination. Check it. Yep, that is energy. So their energy at the bottom is was down in the 5.2% range. Now it's kind of in the 11% range, which is insane, right? So some of that is probably caused by drill by drill. If you know, you know. Also, you're seeing real estate kind of start to slide just a smidge. Keynote and healthcare taking a huge crack at the sky there. Look at that. Healthcare is the is the red in the middle, the red at the top. Oh, healthcare is the red in the middle. Never mind. Info and tech. Huge move to the upside. So I'm gonna remove a lot of junk so we can kind of focus in on what we want to focus on here. Info and tech, financials, and communication services are really your big boys, right? Info and tech and financials really taking off here. Now, why do you think this would take off? Well, partly because interest rates are getting cut, and that's going to spur on demand for potential loans. But after interest rates were extremely high, credit card debt was at an all-time high. These guys are making money hands over fist. So if there is a dip in financials, right, we want to be on the button for it. So we can take a look at some of that. Info and tech also in the stratosphere. It's already looking for a dip. This is a time to kind of go shopping, so to speak, and then we'll go look at communication services and see where it is. Yep, it's kind of in the stratosphere as well. So we'll be looking for some dips, right? But we could probably take a peek in energy, which probably has a lot more room to grow there to kind of catch up to the leader, which is the S&P 500, the index. I'm not sure if it's going to get back on par. Last time it was back on par was in April. So if this is seasonal, maybe it'll, kind of do the same thing, January, February kind of time frame. Might spur on a rally to kind of close that gap. Could be a lot of potential gains, right? We can go look at that ETF, right? Where can we hunt in the ETF XLE? We'll take a peek at the energy sector moving forward, but the holdings primarily are, you got ExxonMobil, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Williams and Companies, just to name a few. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. Occidental Petroleum, Warren Buffett was in that for a little bit there, and Valero Energy, right? Just a kind of big name there. So yeah, a lot of big names in the energy sector. But really, the big one is ExxonMobil. We're gonna go take a peek at that as regards to. We'll snapshot over here, and we'll hit our heat map to kind of analyze that stuff. We'll market watch here. Go take a look at this. Yeah, so we got the heat map pulled up. I'll go personal. I think I have the XLE kind of already I should. If it's not, oh, here it is. Boom, Canon. Right. So as you can see, how much market cap, how much space the energy XOM, the ExxonMobil, essentially takes up. XOM is the largest. CVX is the next largest. So kind of these two guys are really going to push everything else. And you got Occidental, and all these other guys. You got Halliburton out here, right? So the energy sector overall, there it is. Okay. If we go to our charts, and we take a peek at that. Somebody's doing nefarious activities. Currently, right, the trend has recently changed for the upside, right? Trend has recently changed for the upside. Hopefully I can edit this out. If we don't edit this out, it's going to be the worst. God, it just has to pop off right when we're recording, right? It's the way life works. But we recently got a green to the upside, right? And what I want you to kind of key in on, right, is you got the XLE here, recently green, but there's really no trigger. So we're kind of looking for a little bit of a pullback here, kind of like the way it was in this rally. We're going to mark this up. And bam. So if we go back, I'm going to op test this for you so you can see what I'm kind of looking for, so I can give you guys a real plan. Remember, the talk is the plan. We're going to get back to making solid plans, okay? If you can see here, there was no real buy indicator, but at least the trend changed. So even if you take a traditional approach and you say, okay, from my mentor, right, above the 8-pair moving average and above the previous week's high. You can look at the weekly chart. You can tell pretty quick, right? This is kind of the reason why we took that buy on that week. It was above the previous week's high, and we would have a stop out of the previous week's low. So that's kind of your setup. If it goes down here, we're done, and we end up making massive on that play, right? Buy here, and then we rolled, kind of closed out a little early. Well, actually closed some, rolled some, and then closed some. Probably could have rolled it for more, but it was already in the stratosphere. It wasn't even close to 3 ATR in hindsight. Probably should have held it. Listen to my mentor, right? Held for bigger winners. But what would be the plan now, right? Ideally, I would want to see a little bit of a pullback here, and then maybe see some sellers step in and get washed. That would be pretty nice. This buy could have been pretty good. I put a gold candle here because I was like, man, that would be the golden spot. You probably could buy here to break these guys as well. But there's no real trigger other than that because it's in a downtrend, right? At that time, though, the 21 period moving average is already moving down. So I'm not looking at to be a buyer, right? Maybe even here, be looking to be a buyer at the break of this. But even then, you're looking to take it off as it reaches some level of resistance here, right? Boom to here, maybe just rotational. That's a good plan. Give people a real plan. Give people an if-then plan. Hey, if it breaks the high, let it ride, and if it kind of pulls back below a certain section, take it off. But don't tell people after it's at $98.97 that, hey man, have you seen XLE? Don't stop doing that. Please stop telling people that. Please don't do that. I'll give you a case in point, right? My buddies, these guys, they're new to investing, right? They're new to trading, and they're like, yo, that Palantir though, it's actually making nice, but they're not in it yet. And this is what I'm talking about, right? We're getting Palantir with a plan that, hey, if the moving average gets tight, I'm willing to accept the risk here, right? Because seeing that it was down here, the risk to reward, the reward could be all the way up to $45. The risk at all-time lows, it's at all-time lows. Everyone knows the old adage. What is it? Buy low, sell where? High. But everyone does the opposite. They tell you about things when it's already high. Why do they do that? I don't know. On this channel, we're not going to do that. We're going to stop telling people to do that exact thing. We're going to tell you when it takes a dip, when you can give yourself a real plan so that you can start putting your money somewhere good, right? So let's go look at some of our in plays as we can see, and see if we can find some real deals. Right here is Adobe. Now Adobe's currently, let's kind of zoom in here. It is kind of neutral on the 21 period moving average, right? So we're not going to prioritize Adobe, but what I kind of want to key in on is if the market begins that big if then word, right? And that the if word is the key to a good plan. It's the key to it. If something shows you that it's prepared to do what you think it's going to do, then take a position on the stock. If then, right? If it does this, then I will make a position, right? So as you can see here, we have a good if then statement. If the play, now that you have the buyers that have stepped in, if the play breaks below that 504.38, if it breaks below that, we will be a potential seller. Nice. That's a real plan. Right now, plan, that's to get in. What about completely to get out? We want a decent risk to reward, right? So if it breaks, let's say for example, it does go down here, our stop loss, because remember, we're looking to trade this to the downside, if it breaks above high, and then take profit is when it reaches the first zone of resistance, right? We'll be looking to roll, completely take it off, depending on news, whatever have you not. That's a plan. Now you're looking at a kind of a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? And you have a real plan. A 1-to-1 with options gives you probably a decent return of like 50%, maybe 60%, okay? If the average runner is 20 to 40%, you're doing pretty good. So we're kind of giving people an actual plan. We don't want to have people in limbo, okay? And what do I mean? Let's go XLV. We're in the healthcare field, right? To the downside. Real plan, actionable plan. Here we go. We saw that recent trend to the downside. This is kind of what we're looking for it to do, right? Very similar to the XLV. Trading to the downside, kind of had a rally. You know what they say: buy the dip, short the rally. Buy the dip, short the rip, so to speak. It's clearly in a downtrend here. 21 period moving average is gone neutral, and the 8 period moving average is clearly crossed below. We call it a death cross over here on the channel. The rally happened, and then buyers you could clearly see stepped in. These buyers immediately got washed the next day. We're into the downside. Decent ROI currently. Let's hopefully it holds, because we're looking to roll it at 146.39 with a stop out of 151. That's a plan. Okay. What people will do is they'll say, oh no, this one is selling off, bro. I don't think I can get it. Well, what's your plan, right? Let's see what we are on the monitor tab to see how it looks currently. XLV is currently trading at around 3%. Didn't put a lot of money into this trade, but it's already up 3%. So hopefully we see some follow through there. It is after hours, so that could actually be a little bit higher, depending on how wide the bid ask is. It can be pretty wide. No, it's actually not that wide, but interesting. So it has moved. I mean, we're talking a couple dollars here, so maybe we'll get an updated figure for that later. But yeah, up 3% on that, not too shabby. Let's go on. Shopify, clearly already in the stratosphere, right? Gone parabolic. I might have to bring up a image of the 10-minute. Let me see if I have the book here. I probably should have had it pulled up, but really, I'll bring it up for you guys next time. The one thing I want to illustrate to you guys is things start going parabolic. A lot of times there is a rhythm to their what chaoticness, right? You can see certain signs like certain bull traps and bear traps to be cognizant of, and a prime example of that is AMC. I'm going to go to AMC just kind of prove it. It's right now it's huge, right? So this is the kind of thing that your friends like, yo, Shopify actually went to the moon, bro. I think I might get some. Don't get some right here. Like when I was telling you guys in like NVIDIA, let's go take a peek. When I was telling you guys when it was up here, right, at the time it was rallying, and it was up here at 140, and I was like, don't get it. Wait for it to pull back. It was pulling back. It's like, we want a little bit more on the pullback. Then it gave you a really nicey, juicy pullback. Really nice, juicy, and there was some real great opportunities to get into this stock, right? You see buyers step in. Now it was a little risky because sellers got washed here. We got in, immediately took our legs, but the next green candle, we're like, yeah, am I willing? Really, at that point, you know, I've got confirmation bias to the buy side anyway. I'm like, you know, this is pulled back from 140 to about $90, right? Massive sell-off. So am I okay with accepting all risk down to like 80? And at the time I was like, yeah, you're right, $90. If it goes back to highs, it's at 140. I'm gonna accept that roughly $10 risk to net about a $30-$40 return. 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio sounds great to me. We got the contract for a year. We're still in it because we actually rolled up to the 151 mark. It was for the year. That's the 50-20. You know, so at the time we rolled it kind of around this time frame, and we were like, I want to roll it, take some profits off the table. Don't know, as it approaches high, it's a good time to make a decision. Just running into some resistance. I took some off the table, but I took some off the table all the way at 151. So that's what that green line is there. And the idea is just let me know when it's back up there, and let me know if it kind of pulls below here. Kind of very wide. Not really having to look at it all the time. I just know it's there. You know, it's like, hey, just let me know where it's at. But we have it for a lead contract, right? Really good company, nice dip, pull the trigger on the right day. Let's go, baby. It's going crazy out here. HON. Another thing that's in the stratosphere, not really anything to key in on with this guy, right? You're at all-time highs. You're sitting at 3 ATR on the weekly. Like, what are we doing, right? There's not much for me to do here, right? Except for put this line here to denote, hey, that the trend changed at around that level, and you could maybe have took a play if there was a serious dip. Was there an opportunity to take a play here? Green, right? So okay, the trend is now your friend. Okay, you see the red step in after the green, and you could take that rip. Right? You can also take this. You could have took this rip post earnings. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your buy. There's your stop out at the low. Respect your friends, and rip. Absolutely massive. That's how you get it. If we put our absolute golden candle there, we didn't take this play, but we're not doing too bad. Now look at that. It aligns up almost flawlessly. Buying the dip lines up almost flawlessly with what most people tell you. Buy the dip, buy close to the moving averages, buy low, sell high. All those things, that's a real plan. But how many people, like if I scroll past the weekly, if you're seeing this red candle here, let me see this. If you're seeing this red candle come into play, or you're willing to buy the next day. You're seeing all this red, are you willing to buy the next day? Are you willing to take the risk? Are you willing to buy the dip? Are you actually willing to keep that integrity to yourself and to your plan, right? Now, one of two things is happening. Either you don't have a plan or you don't have an edge. Over here, we have an edge. We're trying to share that, right, for educational purposes. But if you don't have an edge, or if you don't have an edge, fine. But at least you have to have a plan. You have to, okay? Or you're gonna set if you don't have a plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, and that's kind of it works in trading really. This is the one that we were in, and what I call a blowout candle, right after a huge rally, you have a lot of buyers at the high here. That's people stepping into the stock a little. Either it's going to fuel a major continuation, or it's buyers setting themselves up to get absolutely smoked at the top of a rally. Okay, so what I tend to do is, for me, that's almost a trigger to make a decision, because the lemmies, let me tell you, the lemmies are out here. They're out here, and they want to give you their money. So if you want to take the lemmies' money, okay, and I'm okay with that. If you're over here on this side, we're taking other people's money. That's the plan, okay? Taking other people's money, and we're gonna live a decent life, right? Because the banks, they got a lot of money. If we can take if these are the banks, cool. Let's get them. Let's go get these boys. But here, the play is in play. We're in green, right? Took a little bit of a dip. Seller stepped in, got washed. Cool. Buy. Sell at the low, right? Alert's still there. Hey, heads up. And then now we see the lemmies getting in on the buy side, kind of at the end of the rally, kind of close to 3 ATR. So what do? I'm like, listen, right? The plan is, I believe that these people have the potential to get washed. It is what it is, okay? If they get washed, either way, we're going to take most of our profits off the table. So we have since rolled way out of the money, right? From 387 to around 400 on the on the long strike, and then above that for the short. I didn't bother to put that up there, but it's up there. Why do I do that? Because I pull as much juice off the table, and either it's going to be a fuel on the rally on this blowout candle, and they're going to rally through that bad boy, or right, this is done, right? And we've taken most of our profits off the table, and we'll stay in the uptrend for the sake of good habits. Okay, LYV, same thing. Not really much to do here. Kind of in the stratosphere. With this massive green candle here, and then this darker red candle, I do like to put an alert to see if these people get washed. I kind of want to know, just for learning purposes. I don't have to be in every play to put an alert there. I just kind of want to know, these massive dark candles, when are they getting washed? What's the news look like on days like this? Massive volume here for this really tight candle, and then boom, cannons, right? Cannons galore for LYV, Live Nation. Good for them. EA Sports, I love EA Sports, right? Definitely buying opportunity. It was on earnings. Didn't really look to absorb those premiums, but butterflies are in effect, right? There was also an opportunity to take the buy here. Remember, it is in a strong uptrend. Nice, juicy, tight red candle at the bottom of a range, forming a Harambe pattern. Oh my goodness, these things are lining up. Ladies and gents, Harambe pattern. If you don't know what that is, Definitely Google is your friend. But as you can see, would you be okay with taking this play, stop out at the low, and catching an immediate follow through on the day? I think I'd be happy with that. But that is the edge that we have, right? Definitely not in that play, but something to think about. It's on the board for massive volume. So, we've got some stuff in the work. ACN, I think we have a butterfly at high. Greens are stepping in, so we still have this puppy. If it gets up there, we're targeting that. I'm not really hopeful. It's more like a 1-to-1, and to eliminate the risk, I kind of did a butterfly. Right, it's still in play here, because it crossed all these sellers kind of halfway point. So we're looking, if they don't really step back in, I do believe it will approach highs. That's kind of the idea there. But there was an opportunity to buy pre earnings here, and then it kind of gapped and kept going. So edge is still in effect. Good stuff. TGT target looking nasty, baby. Definitely an opportunity to take that buy here. It is a little bit more of a neutral side. So if you have something that's a little bit more trendy, I would stay with the more friendly. Don't necessarily take a jump at the neutral. So over here, we like to prioritize uptrends, downtrends before we prioritize neutral trends. So the priority goes, top priority goes to uptrends, and then the next priority goes to downtrends, and the next priority goes to neutral trends. So ideally, you want to, if you have a blank slate, you're not in any trades, and there's a dip buy trends, and there's a rally trend on shorts, right? There's an opportunity to short the rip. Obviously, I will almost line up for the buys first, get the buys in first, then get the rips next, and then if there's any neutral oscillating stuff, we'll take that. Learning how to trade in all three markets, the rules are going to be different, right? So just because I see sellers, I see them get washed at the bottom of the range, that's kind of what we want. If I see buyers getting washed at the top of range, that's kind of what we want, right? When you see this giant red candle here, darker red, darker greens, it's kind of like a get out of the way, right? Is there follow through? Do these guys get washed? You want to be cognizant of that. This means somebody's really stepping in. This is probably a good one here. Post earnings, tight red candle. Probably could have took the buy there, missed it. There is an opportunity to kind of take the buy for maybe some potential fall through. But then this red candle stepped back, and sorry about that. This red candle stepped back in. And so even though there's a buy here, some follow through, we're waiting for some follow through, and it can still happen, right? It's in a pretty strong uptrend. And you're out of the hot zone with earnings. So yeah, could see some follow through. Bitcoin, baby, look at that. So we do want to know, like I was saying, these darker greens, right, really push at the high. Not too much follow through, but there was actually some follow through. So that's good to know. We do hold some of the Bitcoin ETF, but let me tell you something. We bought it more down here, right? We bought at the second pivot that we bought on the second dip of the trend change. Okay, we hit our if then. We're like, okay, I'm not sure if I want to buy. It could be a short the rip situation. It's been a pretty sustained downtrend. You get the green back here, right? Which is the trend change. There it is, and then it kind of goes up. Don't want to buy it up in the stratosphere. Waited for it to dip, and then took a buy above the previous week's high and above the 8-period moving average, and has been Goldilocks ever since, right? There was a little bit of this action going on, but let's see if there's an opportunity to buy, right? At 3 ATR, we do start looking at this stuff as, you start going into 3 ATR territory. If you want to be a bottom picker with 3 times normal volume in negative 3 ATR, I'm not going to stop you, right? That's actually pretty good. And actually, that's kind of why it's there, is being a bottom picker in a situation like this is a play. It's not something that you want to trade with the trend, but if you want to counter trend, this is pretty high probability, right? You're at 3 ATR, so you're probably going to get some follow through short term, and then you have volume to back you up. Definitely on the 8.5 if you were looking to be a Bitcoin buyer, cool. And then even same thing here. These guys get washed. Not necessarily don't have supreme edge there, but there is a case for it, right? If you're confirmation biased already for a buy, you're looking for a buy essentially, that's a buying opportunity. Okay. CMG. So you got CMG here. Shout out to CMG. You're in buy territory here. You should be getting a buy. Now we did do something goofy. I forget what it was. I think we were still kind of playing around with the old system. It was above the 8 period moving average, above the previous week's high. With the new system, right? The buy opportunity was here, right? Saving ourselves some of that heartache on the stop out. It is what it is. We followed our plan. That's about what we can learn. Live and learn. Move on. Chipotle, great place to go shop and get some nom noms. Waste management, everyone needs their trash taken out. There was this range here between 214, 74 and 200, right? So again, different market conditions, different rules. Obviously, if it's in a strong uptrend, buy the dip. If it's in a strong downtrend, short the rip. And if it's in a neutral market, your thrust typically is to the downside. But you can trade up and down in this regard. I would say if we go back to that range there, opportunity, you don't know that it's going to be a choppy trend yet, but there is a buying opportunity here. If you have hindsight 2020, these buyers get washed, but not much follow through there. A buying opportunity here, and really the indicators aren't as pronounced in choppy markets. That's why I don't really like trading choppy markets. I like trading trendy markets and just buying the dip. The dollar really kind of climbing. So 29.82 currently, and definitely a clear case for buying off of after the break of this to take that nice rip. I would say outside of that, no real other buying opportunities for UUP. XLP. Here we go. Now, this is something we can make a plan off of. Look at that beautiful uptrend, right? Absolutely massive. The only thing that I don't necessarily like is I like the gradual pullback, so it's kind of setting up like an extended bull flag, right? But this could easily decline into breaking down into a downtrend, right? But we won't know that until we know it. So what's the plan? If it breaks above this high, and even you can even say, oh, I wanted to clear this one, right? Boom. If it breaks above that, where's our stop? Well, we can take our stop. It could be tight. My recommendation is especially if it breaks this high, I want to respect these sellers. I want to give my play some wiggle room. Okay. You can be a 2-bar professional here, 1, 2, and it's still down here. You could be a 1-bar professional and it'd be at the low there. Either way, I'm really more looking, if I'm gonna give it wiggle room, I'm gonna have a justification. I want to respect my fellow buyers. So if these guys are in here on the buy, duking it out with these heavy sellers, I'll respect them, because if they win, if they win, right, we want to respect their buying. If it comes down here and they're willing to buy at that price again, we'll respect it. And then what will we trade to? Probably pivot highs, right? That's the plan. We'll be looking to take profits, make a decision, sell, whatever. And then if we roll it, then looking to take it off or roll it some more at all-time highs. That's a real plan. Breaks the high, stop out here, push, real plan. XLP, look for. And then we can go take a peek at the XLP here. Let's go actually, let's go pull up the XLP and see. Let's see under the hood, right? We're gonna go take a peek under the hood. Yeah, we're gonna get all that. PG, KO, PEP, Altria, right? Philip Morris. Yeah, Costco's kind of leading the pack. Walmart's kind of leading the pack, right? Consumers coming back. Target doing his thing, kind of double neutral there. Yeah. So it's kind of a mixed bag, right? But if this can turn around, we could see some buying. So essentially, if the tide on XLP starts raising, a lot of these other boats, because they're already hit, we might see a short-term rally in some of them. I don't think Altria, Costco, and Walmart are going to carry the day when most of the XLP is to the downside. So just something to kind of key in on. So we got this big boy. again, I'm okay with taking the risk here because I mean it's been an extended downtrend for a while. I didn't buy much. I just kind of put it on the scoreboard to kind of see how we're looking. Earnings are starting to slightly pick up, but not by much. So we, it's $1.88 currently, with the average price of 3. But I was like, what's the risk to reward? $3 to last pivot high being 10. I'll take it. Essentially, yeah, we'll take that. And there might be a real buying opportunity once the trend changes. So essentially, the plan is we're just gonna wait till the trend changes. We won't throw any more money on the table until the trend changes for NBTS. It wasn't recommended buy, but yeah, I just put it on the board. Shout out to Peter Lynch. Salesforce, shout out to Salesforce. These guys right here, if it trades below that, right, we just want to at least know that these massive amounts, high volume of buyers, they get washed, right? We don't want that. Abreva, in an uptrend, but a very, very violent dip, right? And so we want to be cognizant when these sellers get washed, because we do want to know how that plays out. This could be a very massive gap fill for the rip, right? So be looking for that. This is what I'm talking about right here. It has been in a pretty strong uptrend with a nice rip like that to the downside. We're looking to buy that dip with all this pressure here. It is not really breaking below. So if it breaks above there, we're looking to be a buyer if we can get in at a decent price. Home Depot, right? Shout out to Home Depot. Definitely a buying opportunity there. This is where they say don't be a dick for a tick. It kind of got up there and then pulled back. So taking some off the table, rolling it would have been nice. But since then it didn't. But yeah, Home Depot is there. It did take the dip. That's when you take the buy slightly before earnings. A little risky buying it right before earnings because the premiums have been ballooned. But hey, we got it. CEG. We are in CEG. There's still a lot of selling pressure here, but we're going to respect the buyers. If it breaks below the low, though, got to let it go and move on. Big T Daddy, Tesla. And then we got one more, Amazon. Really a lot of pressure up here. I mean, it is a 3 ATR, so I'm not hoping for too much here. Maybe looking to get a pullback. We did miss a Tesla rally. There was a very brief moment to get into Tesla here, right? But if you followed your rules to a T, you would have got stopped out the day before it absolutely popped. So you would have had to be like extremely like diamond hands, like, hey, I want to see you break the low. However you do your plan is your plan. Just have a plan, right? That's really kind of the point. But if you were like on the pipper, you got out right there. And then you missed this rally and cried home to mom the next day. And then AMGN, not Amazon Slock. So here you see it kind of transition to the downside. Even if you took, let's say, you took this play right here, you would have got stopped out. And then these massive amounts of sellers are here. So I do want to know if and this is post earnings, right? I do want to know if and when it crosses above there, just as a heads up, because of that. So there you go. Those are kind of what we've got currently. There's a couple plays we can take a look at, but really honestly, this was more along the lines to kind of give you a snapshot into my brain on how I make an if then statement, especially what we're looking at for stuff like XLP. And making a real plan, or the other one, that's I think it's CB. We're on CB. Was it that one? Yeah, CB and XLP. So those really are the two, if we're summarizing, of what we would be looking for, and kind of what we did after we've our plan has worked and executed, and we see kind of danger or new information pop in, right? Don't always do that, but sometimes after it's moved and you've made some pretty good money, hey, take your fish and go home, man. You don't have to catch everything that jumps on the hook. But really for the CRM stuff like that, yeah, like you missed it, man. You missed it. It's okay, there's more fish in the sea. Okay. And then where there was the other one, XLP. There it is. Yeah, XLP. Boom. Clear plan, right? There's some the plan has room for variation, but not much, right? If it breaks above this guy and it breaks above this guy, cool. Stop out at the low, protect your respect your buyers, and then if it goes first sign of danger, let it go. I mean, first sign of danger might even be right here, right? But just have a plan, right? So thank you guys. Appreciate your time. If you like what you've been seeing, by all means, hit me a message on YouTube. Hey, I want you to investigate this for me. Kind of want to see the fundamentals, or I want to see what you think about this stock, or what do you think about this trend? Tell me what it looks like. Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm here for you. Boy MC Fire, tap in again. Hit the like, comment, subscribe button. Check out some of our earlier videos if you want to see our edge and what we've been working on. We got a couple goodies. So thank you guys for joining us. Have a good day and goodbye.